My name is Sarah. I am 39 years old. If you looked at my family from the outside, you would probably think I had a beautiful life. I had a husband named Michael. We had been married for 17 years. We also had a daughter named Emma. She was 15 years old, and she was the brightest part of my world. There was a time when Michael was my best friend. We talked about everything. We laughed together. We stayed awake late at night talking about our dreams. Back then, I never imagined there would come a day when we would sit in the same room and feel like strangers. 5 years ago, everything started to change. It happened slowly, so slowly that at first I didn't even notice it. Michael received a promotion at work. I was proud of him. We celebrated together. He smiled and said, "Sarah, everything is going to get better now." I believed him. But instead of getting better, things started disappearing. Not money, not opportunities. Him. At first, it was little things. He stopped asking how my day was. Then he stopped sitting with me during dinner. Then he stopped noticing when I changed my hair, or when I bought a new dress, or when I cried. One evening, I spent nearly 2 hours cooking his favorite meal. I made everything exactly the way he liked it. I even lit candles on the table. I wanted us to spend time together. Just one evening. Just one conversation. Michael came home. He looked at the table, then at his phone, and he said, "I already ate with some clients." That was it. No apology. No explanation. No realization that I had spent hours preparing everything. After he went upstairs, I sat alone at the table. The candles were still burning. The food was getting cold. And suddenly, I started crying. Not because of the food, because I missed my husband, even though he was living in the same house. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And little by little, I started feeling invisible, like a piece of furniture, like someone who was simply there, not loved, not hated, just ignored. One night, we were sitting in the living room. Michael was scrolling through his phone. I was sitting beside him, only a few inches away, yet it felt like we were standing on different sides of the world. Finally, I gathered enough courage to ask him something. "Michael, are you happy?" He didn't even look up. "Why are you asking that?" My heart sank. "Because you never talk to me anymore. Because sometimes I feel like I'm losing you." For a moment, I thought he would finally understand. I thought he would put his phone down. I thought he would look into my eyes and tell me everything would be okay. Instead, he simply stood up and said, "I'm tired, Sarah. We'll talk later." But later never came. Not that day, not that week, not that year. And that's when I realized something that terrified me. My husband wasn't leaving me. He was disappearing while standing right in front of me, and I had no idea how to bring him back. The years kept moving forward, but nothing changed. Not for me. Not for us. Every morning, Michael left for work before sunrise. Every evening, he came home after dark. And every night, he sat in the same chair, looking at his phone, looking at his laptop, looking at anything except me. Sometimes I would sit across from him and just watch. Not because I wanted attention, not because I wanted gifts. I only wanted one thing: his eyes. Just for a few seconds. Just long enough to know that I still mattered. One evening, I stood in front of the mirror before dinner. I fixed my hair. I put on a blue dress, the same dress Michael once said was his favorite. I remember that day clearly. Years ago, he looked at me and smiled. "You look beautiful." Back then, those words came naturally. That night, I waited. I hoped he would notice. I hoped he would smile. I hoped he would say something, anything. But when Michael walked into the house, he walked right past me, without looking, without stopping, without saying a single word. I stood there frozen, still holding hope in my hands and watching it disappear. That night, after everyone was asleep, I sat alone in the kitchen. The house was silent. The clock on the wall was ticking, and for some reason, that sound felt louder than ever. Tick, tick, tick. It felt like my marriage was slowly running out of time. I opened an old photo album. There we were, me and Michael, at the beach, at our wedding, holding hands, laughing, looking at each other like we were the only two people in the world. I touched one photograph with my fingers, and suddenly, a tear fell onto the page. Then another, then another. Where did we go wrong? When did we stop being us? A few weeks later, something happened that broke me completely. It was my birthday, my 40th birthday. I wasn't expecting a party. I wasn't expecting expensive gifts. I wasn't expecting anything special. I only hoped my husband would remember. The entire day passed. My daughter Emma hugged me. She gave me a small handmade card. "Happy birthday, Mom." I smiled. I kissed her forehead, and for a moment, I felt loved. Then evening came. Michael came home. He walked through the door. He loosened his tie and sat down, just like every other day. He didn't say anything, not one word, not even "happy birthday." I felt something crack inside me. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like glass breaking in another room. That night, I went into the bathroom. I locked the door, and I cried. Not because he forgot a date, because I realized I had spent 5 years hoping for a man who wasn't there anymore. The next morning, Emma found me sitting on the porch. She sat beside me. Neither of us spoke for a while. The sun was rising. Birds were singing. But my heart felt heavy. Then, Emma looked at me and asked something I wasn't ready to hear. "Mom, are you happy?" I wanted to answer immediately. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to protect her. But the truth got stuck in my throat. Because for the first time, I didn't know the answer. And that scared me more than anything. Then, Emma gently held my hand and said something I will never forget. "Mom, you always take care of everyone, but who takes care of you?" Her words hit me harder than anything Michael had ever done. Because she was right. For years, I had been fighting for my marriage, fighting for my family, fighting for someone who wasn't even fighting for me. That afternoon, I made a decision. A small decision, but it would change everything. For the first time in 5 years, I stopped waiting for Michael to notice me. And that was the moment my life slowly began to change. But I had no idea that a shocking truth about Michael was waiting just around the corner.